I'm eating a salad and I came across this video and I'm going to share some of it with you because I cannot be the only one out of all of us who is scarred by this or saw this.
To introduce two wonderful, wonderful, beautiful souls to you, very, very good friends of mine, Janet Trelaw and Hazel Newton, who I've known for some years. I actually found these two magnificent ladies through Zach's channeling, attending a channeling extravaganza that Janet and Zach were running. And they've enriched my lives so much. And in fact, Zach's wisdom in his channeling has enriched my life more than I can possibly say. It's so interesting that from the 26th dimension, he so often is reinforcing what I'm seeing astrologically. So that's wonderful. And Janet and Hazel run a Patreon group, and it has very rich offerings of a deep dive with Zach every month, a wonderful meditation that can take you to some unbelievable places and really enhance your soul's path of growth, your soul's path of evolution in this lifetime. So they run it beautifully. They do the Q&A every month as well, so you can literally send in your questions and Zach from his very high place in the universe will answer you. So Hazel and Janet both have a background in past life regression and training past life regressions as well. They're no longer doing that. They're very much focused on running the Patreon group and helping everybody move through this massive transition that we are in right now. And Hazel, is there anything else you'd like to add before we move into the channeling? I think also to say that the more detailed introduction to you both was in a previous video, because I've been spending time with Hazel and Janet in the past, as some of you are aware, and we'll put the link to that video with the lengthy introduction to their backgrounds below this video. So if you want to check that out, it'll be right there for you. Handing over to you, Hazel.
Thank you so much again, Pam, for hosting us and bringing Zach to your audience. We know how much they've appreciated him in the past. And
so Zach is the woman below. This person. I can't wait for you to see this.
And I know for me, as I've been listening to him over the past few months, I've been hoping that his messages could reach your audience, because they just feel so important at the moment. And I know that your questions are going to reflect some of those things that have been coming up in the astrology. I think it might be worth just mentioning that Zach, who we affectionately call Zach, he had a past life as Zachariah in Syria, but he's actually an aspect of the Ascended Master Dwakul. And so he comes through as Zach in order to have a very personable and loving persona, which is very much related to his level of humanity, that he loved being human when he was here on Earth. And Dwakul is well, wow, what a huge energy! But I think it's more enjoyable for us all to have the sort of the friendliness and the loving persona of Zach. So I'd say that. I think I'll be pretty quiet in this interview. Normally I'm the one that asks the questions, but we know how curious you are as well, Pam, and how much you and Zach have such an affinity together. So we're looking forward to hearing all that you've got to ask him this time.
Absolutely. So we can't wait.
This is Zach. This person channels. Oh my God.
To get going, Janet. So anything else you'd like to
Zach
share with us?
below.
Go off to your meadow to get out of the way while you bring Zach in. Do you want to say a little bit about that?
So there are many different forms of channeling, especially in the age we're living in now, where the vibration is so high that a blending with higher vibrations, excuse me, is so much more possible than it ever was before. I'm still quite old-fashioned, as Zach calls me, because the most comfortable way for me is to be completely out of my body. So I'm an out-of-body channeler. and I go off to my beautiful energetic meadow where it's always springtime, which is a bit strange because it's autumn at the moment. And from there, I can allow him to have just complete use of my body, which is why, as Hazel says, the accent is different, the mannerisms are different, the speech patterns are different, although he has to use vocabulary that he finds. And so I'm afraid you get some Cockney slang in there as well.
She's talking about him in third person because she channels him. All right, I want her to, like, let's get going.
And
Let's
some
watch
words
her
like
go into
stuff.
this.
But overall, he is a lot more eloquent than I am. So I will leave you with him. I'll allow you to, obviously, to carry on talking, because it only takes me a couple of moments or a couple of minutes, probably better than a couple of moments, for him to come through and share his wonderful energy. The energy transmission on top of the wisdom of what he says is all important. So I hope everyone can get to feel that as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So we'll just let Janet pop off to her meadow, and we'll allow the huge energy of Zach, aspect of Dwal Kul, to come in. And this always feels quite magical, actually.
Oh, God. Get ready.
Welcome, 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 welcome.
A joy to be with you again, Zach. It's always such a pleasure. I so love these times when we can share. So thank you for being here with us. Thank you for being a cosmic guide in these massive times of transformation that we're going through. And lots of questions.
Dude, is this real? Or is this like certifiably insane? Do you believe that people can channel other people? God, this makes me very uncomfortable.
It's really that we'd love your wisdom from your high perspective of the 26th dimension. So are you happy to begin? Or is there anything you'd like to share with us straight away?
Let us simply dive straight in. There's so much to share at the moment, is there not, my dear? Is there not?
Absolutely. So the first question is really, I think everybody can feel it in the energy, and it's very, very clear in the astrology that we are entering an accelerated period of collapse of the old order, a breakdown to break through. And I wonder if you can talk a little bit about that and how, from your perspective, we can best navigate these next few months that are so important for us.
Well, first of all, when we anticipate an outcome, a situation, an event, for a long, long time, we really build it up, do we not? We build it up into our minds until it is so vast, so huge, that we either cannot imagine it or we get to the point of fearing it. Now, of course, my dear, as you know, we are not about fear here, are we?
Absolutely.
We are going into the foray of the future with certain certainty that things are better than before. Now, before you think, oh, Zachariah, easy for you to say, you have no physical body anymore, which is true. But we see into people's hearts and minds, and what globally has been building for such a long time and is really reaching a crescendo point now is people's desire for change is so huge.
You know what? These things are always so general, right? Even like readings are so general. And this woman who's channeling this galactic being, Zachariah, who lived in Syria and now is in the 26th dimension, like, I don't know, bro. It's making me kind of nervous.
That it outweighs the fear that may be fundamentally underneath. They are really, really ready a bit like remodeling a house. Ha ha! You may have your favorite a chair, sentimental bits and pieces. And for so long, that has brought you so much comfort, you could not bear to get rid of them. But eventually you say, what is coming is so much better, so much fresher, will give me space to live in the way that I want to live now, rather than harking back to something that doesn't work anymore. Let's clear the decks.
So Pam, I think her name is, Pam Gregory's asking, like, what's going on in the next couple of months? Because shit is definitely hitting the fan. The election, some sort of like eclipse, crazy energies out there, like combative, competitive, lying in terms of politics. So ultimately, I did watch this whole thing, but I didn't learn a lot. This person pretending to be someone else or whatever they're doing says that things are going to change by January very seriously, and that we're going to enter into a new way of living. I don't see it accelerating at such a rate that in 3 months things are going to be so different. It could be because if the midterms turn around, and the way that I interpreted this is Zachariah or whatever is basically saying that the midterms are going to work out in our country's favor, which I think they are too, but we all know what is going to happen. It's whether or not they can pull it off again. So anyway, I wanted to share somebody who's channeling. I'll share a little bit more because I'm sure you're fascinated like I was.
And then when the remodeling happens, well, you wonder why you didn't do it a few years ago. So what we are experiencing is people's desire to be so strong that the energy of that which can be created can happen so much quicker. Almost a bit like, how a typhoon creates momentum with its energy, building strength. And this is what we are feeling now. There is such a strength being built that it gets to the point where you say, you know what? Whatever has to go, because I am ready to put in the new structures, the new strategies, the new way of being, and open to what is being offered to me by the world as well, that I can truly thrive. Good, eh?
Beautiful. And my strong sense is, Zach, that whenever we have these discussions and the people listening to this video are watching it too, or when we come together as a group in person, wanting to create a better world, we are literally creating an energetic hologram of love that is going forward to create that new world. Now, I feel that so strongly, and every time I'm getting goosebumpy now, and every time we do that, it almost feels like we're putting bricks and mortar.
It's so crazy that they take this so seriously, but there is more to our reality than meets the eye. I know that for a fact. This was a little far out for me, and I didn't want to be the only one to see it, so now you've seen it. And if you want to continue to watch the rest, it's Cosmic Collaborations with Zach on Pam Gregory's YouTube. I guess we have to open our minds a little bit because shit's getting weird, for sure.